conduction system. SA node, AV node, bundle of His, right bundle, left bundle, Purkinje fibers. Any of these can give you a jolt to make the heart beat. Okay? Normally, it's the SA node, and you got to know these. These are called inherent rates, 60 to 100 from the SA node. That's when everything's working fine. Okay? And just a normal, adult, healthy human being is 60 to 100 beats per minute. If this one fails, it defaults to this one. It's 40 to 60 beats per minute. If this one fails, it defaults to this one, and that's 20 to 40 beats per minute. Those are the inherent rates. Those become important in a couple minutes.
So AV goes to Purkinje?
AV goes to the bundle of His.
It's just bundle of His.
There. Bundle of His goes to this would be the left bundle, this would be the right bundle, right? Like that. And then it goes to Purkinje.
Yeah.
Is that a 20 to 40?
Yeah, anything below the AV node is 20 to 40.
Okay.
This is Purkinje. So this is where the juice comes from. Jesus. Mom. I guess someone asked me if maybe it's okay.
And we just told them.
No. Really bad artist.
2046. Oh, no, 2046.
That's a normal, this is always lead 2. Always make sure you're looking at lead 2. Lead 2, everything's going to be upright. This is what you see on TV and on the side of the ambulance and everyone's heartbeat tattoo. It always comes from lead 2. It's upright, right? It's the P wave, the QRS, and the T wave. And P wave is the atrial stuff. The QRS is the ventricles. The T wave is reset. So here's what happens. The SA node fires. It says, give me a heartbeat. This is normal, normal, normal. Gives me a heartbeat. The juice comes down here. This is electricity. Comes down here. It goes to the AV node and it pauses for a little bit. Right? And then it continues down the bundles. It goes like that. So when the SA node fires, it's impulse, right? It causes the atria to contract. That's this. That's what the P wave represents. Atria is contracting, all right? It comes down to the AV node, and it pauses just for a little bit. And the reason it pauses is because there's a bunch of blood coming down here. The ventricles have to be ready to receive the blood. That's atrial kick. It's a 30% increase. That's important to remember. 30% increase with an atrial kick, and that's with atrial contraction. If you're an AFib, and the atria is just quivering, you don't get the 30% kick. And that's one of the reasons you have low cardiac output, because that blood's hanging out in the atria and it's not going where it's supposed to. So it pauses for a little bit, and then it continues on down into the bundle branches, causes the ventricles to contract, and that's this, QRS, like that. And then the whole thing has to stop and catch its breath to do it all over again, and that's the T wave. That's resetting the whole thing. So if you look at a normal heartbeat, you see a whole load of these things marching along.
Did you say there's no atrial kick with AFib?
AFib.
Yeah. No
Anytime the atria is not contracting, you have no atrial kick because the atria are not contracting. What causes atrial kick is the atria contract and squirts the blood out into
That's
the
where you get
ventricles.
the extra.
That's what the kick
That's
is.
the 30%.
Kicking 30%
Okay.
more blood into the ventricles.
Which one is when do you have the atrial kick? Is that when the AV?
Right now. Right
That's
now,
your
normal
P.
heartbeat.
When your atrial contracts, that contraction adds 30% more blood into that left ventricle. Which
It's just that you're squeezing 2 balloons filled with blood, right? Well, if the balloons weren't being squeezed, the blood would still run out, but 30% of the blood would stay inside the balloon, right? You squeeze it, all the blood comes out, so you get 30% more blood. AFib is when the atria just quiver. They sit there and freak out. You don't get the kick.
Does it only go in the left ventricle?
Hmm?
Does it only go in the left ventricle?
No, it goes in both.
Okay.
Drop of blood. Remember the drop of blood?
Yeah.
Vena cava, right atria, right ventricle, in through the lungs, right? Pulmonary vein, left ventricle, left ventricle into the aorta. Remember that? So this is all happening at the same time because it's doing all the systems all at one time. You know, it's not like right, left, It's atrioventricles. So all the systems are working all at the same time. Okay? If you think about this just like a pool pump, just like a swimming pool filter pump, it'll make it so much easier. The electrical system tells the mechanical system what to do. Clinical correlation here is there's only one place that you can feel this whole thing going on when you have it on a pulse point. Where's that? Where on this can you feel it on a pulse point? Critical
Radial.
thinking. Critical
Isn't
thinking.
it the radial?
Yeah, you can feel a radial pulse, but what beat on a radial pulse is represented here?
QR.
QRS, right. You can't feel atria contracting down here.
Oh.
You can't feel the reset down here, but when the QRS indicates a ventricular squeeze, that's what's causing it. Not what you hear, don't confuse that. S1 and S2 is caused by valves opening and closing. That's why you hear lub dub, right? When you have your finger on a pulse point, you hear thump, thump, you're just feeling thump, right? That thump is correlated right here. So if you ever get screwed up in these rhythms as to what's doing what, or if he has a pulse or not, if you have this, you're gonna feel thump.
Okay.
Unless, remember the pool pump, unless there's no water in the pool, right? The electrical system is still working, right? But there's nothing for the pump to pump. You're not gonna have thump down here because there's no fluid in the pool. That's pulseless electrical activity. It's called PEA. Pulseless electrical activity. It's gonna look just like this. On a test, the only way they can do this is put that on the strip on the test. It says no pulse, or pulseless. If you get that one wrong, you need to resign from nursing school. That's the gimme. So that's normal, PQRST. All right, any questions on that? These are gonna be regular. I'm a really bad artist. This distance, let's see, there's another one over here. This distance and this distance are gonna be equal. And as you continue on down the train, that's always gonna be equal. So if you had calipers or a piece of paper or whatever, and you made 2 marks, you move that over here, they should line up. The mark should line up with the R wave, with the QRS complex. That's regular.
And that's a normal sinus rhythm.
Normal sinus rhythm, it's regular. Normal sinus rhythm is, the rate is between 60 and 100. There's a P before every QRS. There's a T after every QRS. And lead 2, everything's upright. It's normal sinus rhythm, 60 to 100. If you don't have these, you got some kind of problem. You got to ask yourself what the problem is. All right. Where's everybody getting stuck? What's next?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know enough to be stuck.
All right. If you have PQRST, and you have a rate greater than 100, what do you have?
Tachy.
What kind of tachy? Sinus tachy.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Has
they're
nothing to
different.
do with your nose. It comes from the sinoatrial node. That's why it's called sinus. From the sinoatrial
You're
node.
saying if there's a PQRST.
You have a PQRST and a PQRST,
But
but you
it's
just have a whole load of them together, and they're greater than 100 beats per minute.
It's all
Sinus
regular.
tachy.
I mean, it's.
Looks beautiful, there's just too
but
many of them
it's
on a
too
piece of
many.
paper.
Okay.
And how do you know if it's regular or irregular? Is that this?
The intervals.
Like
This
the
R to
R
R
to R?
distance.
So
This
one
R to
will
R,
be
even in
3
sinus
blocks,
tac,
one will be 10 blocks.
the R to R distance is gonna be the same. It's just gonna be short.
Because sinus is, it's regular.
Yes.
So as long as
Well, yes,
it's,
for right now, it's regular. For right now. Normal sinus rhythm is regular. R to R distance is the same. Sinus tachycardia is regular. The R to R distance is the same. It's going to be shorter. Right? This distance is going to be shorter in sinus tachycardia than it is in sinus rhythm because it's fast. So you got a bunch of
bradycardia,
QRS.
it's just gonna be normal, but it's gonna be spaced out
Sinus
more.
bradycardia, exactly. This distance is going to be longer than normal sinus rhythm. So base everything you're looking at on this strip.
Okay.
You know this strip really well, you can't get the other ones wrong. That's what makes this so easy. There's only one right answer, and that's this. That's this, okay? So, everybody understands sinus tac now?
Yes.
Everybody understands sinus brady? Okay, those are the easy ones. I thought there was somebody looking at me.
So same thing with sinus Brady. You have everything, but it's
Sinus brady, you have a P, you have a QRS, and you have a
everything,
T.
but
And it's less than 60.
It's less than 60 beats per minute, so you have fewer of those on a 6-second strip, right,
Yeah,
than you
5.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have fewer than 6 on a 6-second strip. Everybody with me there so far? All right, let's get into the weird stuff. You ask yourself, the first question you ask when you're looking at any rhythm is it regular? There's 5 questions you ask. The first question you ask is it regular? And you can look at it, just take a piece of paper and make 2 marks and march them out. Do the peaks of the R waves up here and just march them out, up, up, up. Is it regular? I use calipers. You guys want to borrow calipers? I have some extras, you can have them, but it's easier just with a piece of paper, right?
And we're just the regular, you're checking to make sure there's the same amount of boxes between each, either P or.
Don't even get that hard. You're making it too hard.
Make it
Get a piece of paper.
the peaks,
Get
the
a
R,
piece of paper.
R peaks.
Get a piece of paper and put this piece of paper there and make a mark.
Okay,
Without moving the piece of paper, make a mark where the next one is.
yeah,
Slide this whole piece of paper
to
down
the
here.
third one, yeah. I
This
read
mark should
that.
line up here. That mark should line up on the next QRS. That's
we're
making it regular. Don't count boxes, don't divide by 7, don't figure out how many human souls Pedro can buy. Just do that. That's it.
Okay.
That's regular. This is only gonna work if it's a regular rhythm. If this doesn't work, this is not working, you have something wrong. You have an irregular rhythm, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. So everyone understands normal sinus rhythm, sinus tach, sinus bradycardia. Hi, I hope this is okay.
He's gonna be awesome on your staff someday.
I just need the little thing to hold the door open.
Oh.
I think it's on the outside.
All right, so the first question you ask is it regular? Second question you ask is, what's the rate? There's a whole bunch of ways to calculate rate. If you have a 6-second strip and it's regular, you count the number of QRSs and multiply by 10. All right? How do you know if you have a 6-second strip?
Like that.
You get little marks above the tracing.
It's 30 large boxes.
Stop at the boxes.
3 seconds, 3 seconds.
It's a little mark that go above, because that should be 30.
These are 3 seconds? These are 3 seconds? You're all into these boxes. Stop at the boxes. So if you have 3 marks up here, you have 6 seconds. Some marks look different. They look like carrots. Some of them are pointing up, some of them are pointing down. They gotta be above the tracing. If you have these marks below the tracing, that means something completely different I'm not gonna get into right now, right? But so if you have a 6-second strip and it's regular, you count the number of QRS complexes and multiply by 10, you got yourself a rate. If it's less than 60, it's, if it's greater than 100, it's, you guys are already experts. You're already that far, you already know 3 rhythms. Regular, what's the rate? The next thing you want to ask yourself is there a P wave before every QRS?
Wait, can I go back to
Sure.
the rate real quick? What about if it's irregular?
You gotta do a whole minute to get yourself an honest rhythm, or honest rate on your irregular rhythm. You have to have a whole minute.
No, your tests you're only gonna have
6 seconds.
6
strip.
seconds.
So I'm gonna show you a way to do that with an irregular rhythm. We're getting there.
Okay, so is there a P wave before QRS?
Is there a P wave before every QRS is the third question you asked. 3A is there only one P wave before every QRS?
Correct, because then it could be in,
We're leading down the block path here in a second.
Okay, is there only one P?
Is there a P wave before every QRS? Yes. Is there only one P wave before every QRS? Yes. Is it regular? Yes. Is it between 60 and 100? Yes. What do we got? Everybody else
that was
asleep?
fast.
Oh, no, I was writing.
Should I phrase this in terms of boxes?
No.
Is it regular?
Yes. Yes.
Is the rate between 60 and 100?
Yes.
Is there a P wave before every QRS?
Yes.
Is there only one P wave?
Yes.
It can only be one thing.
Sinus.
Sinus rhythm. Is it greater than 100? All that other stuff applies. Is it greater than 100?
It's
It's
sinus.
sinus tach.
Sinus
If
tach.
it's less than 60, it's sinus
Sinus
Brady.
Brady.
Okay, everybody good on this?
Yes.
Will you send this to me?
I'll put on these.
Okay.
Do you have a USB?
Okay, remember those questions.
Okay.
What's this?
Atrial,
So
It's
that's
regular.
P flutter?
What's the first question?
PCV.
First
Is it
question.
regular?
Is this regular?
No.
What's the second question?
What's the
Rate.
rate?
What's the
Okay,
rate?
we'll say the rate's 70. This guy didn't give you enough to make a rate.
So
All right, what's the third question?
Is there a P wave?
Is there a P wave?
No.
All right, it's irregular, and it doesn't have a P wave, and it's between 60 and 100. Can only be one thing, AFib,
So it's irregular, no P wave.
between 60 and 100. It can only be one thing, and that's AFib,
Atrial fibrillation,
atrial fibrillation.
because there's no P.
The
Atrial's not
most
working.
common dysrhythmia known to man, atrial fibrillation.
Okay.
Millions of people walk around with it, that keeps the Coumadin people in business. Okay, that's AFib, irregular, no P wave. All right.
Okay. Atrial fibrillation.
What's this?
Is it flutter?
Regular.
Is
Is it
there-
regular?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this
Yeah,
is
oh, because
regular.
because
The
it's
The rate is 80.
Okay.
Is there a P wave before every QRS? Is there more than
Yes.
one P wave before?
Yeah.
There's a
Yes.
whole load of them in here,
Yes.
So
all
is that
right?
a flutter?
Yep,
So
these
it's
look like
vent-
saw teeth.
Ventricular.
Oh, okay.
No,
No?
no, we're still atrial,
Atrial.
we're still, don't go low
How
early,
do I know that that's not a
because I'm a
T?
shitty artist.
How do I know that this is not a T wave?
That is a T wave, and that is a T wave,
Oh,
and that
sorry.
is a T wave.
Okay, so then.
Don't worry
but
about
these
those.
are- But after that is P's.
These
Yeah, so
are-
you don't have
Those are
repeated
T
T
waves?
No, you only have one T.
Okay.
What's going on here is normally we have atria ventricles, atria ventricles, atria ventricles. Here we have atria ventricles, atria, but it's regular. All right, this is fluttering. It's fluttering. The atria are going bop, 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 boom. It's like a car missing. Bop, 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 boom. Bop, 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 boom, like that. As opposed to AFib, where you had doop, doop, like this, right? You quiver and then you get a beat. And this one you get bop, 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 like this. Bop, bop, bop.
So this is actually contracting, that's just quivering.
This is quivering. The atria are not contracting.
It's just-
Here, the atria are contracting too
Contracting,
much.
okay.
Too much of a good thing. Atria ventricle, atria. This may or may not be regular. On every test I've ever seen, and every test I've ever taken, it's regular. If it's irregular, don't let it freak you out. The key giveaway here are these flutter waves, and they look like saw teeth. They look just like the teeth on a saw, or some people call them shark fins.
How do I know it's atrial as opposed to ventricle?
Because we have atrial activity here.
That-
And
we have to-
ventricles are easy. I'll give you a big giveaway in
Those are
ventricles when we
these.
get down that low.
Okay.
Don't
So,
raise your hand, that's class.
so to determine between.
How many boxes?
No.
Oh,
So to determine between our AFib up top and our A flutter on bottom, our AFib is irregular and our A flutters.
A flutter may or may not be
Okay.
irregular. The big giveaway is what's going on between the QRSs. What's
When
going
it
on
looks
between
like
these QRSs
saws.
here?
They're not
No, no, no,
contracting.
Yeah,
quivering.
just quiver.
What's going on between these
And it's a
QRSs?
saw.
Something's going on. You got a sawtooth.
What's
Don't
the-
worry about the irregularity versus the irregularity in A flutter. It could be some of each. And it could be, in real life, it could be a mix between AFib and A flutter depending upon what the patient's doing. I've never seen a test really do that to you. So if you see these saw teeth, that's A flutter,
Is AFib always irregular?
always, by definition. Irregular, no P wave, it can only be AFib. All right? There's a fancy term, if it's AFib greater than 100.
What are those peaks in the AFib picture?
Those are ventricle contractions.
These things? Those are QRSs. I told you I'm a lousy
The
artist.
one in the first one, what's that?
That's a
That's
QRS.
yours.
I'm a lousy artist.
It doesn't have.
What
the-
do you want, Monet?
It doesn't have the bottom tail, it doesn't have the
okay.
tail on the bottom.
We're not worried.
Don't over.
Yeah, I'm not, it doesn't,
Does
yeah.
that make you feel better?
Okay.
Okay, AFib with a rate of greater than 100 is called AFib with RVR, that stands for rapid ventricular response.
Oh, yeah.
There's no magic to it. It's greater than 100. This is medicine. You have to have a special term for everything. So this special term is RVR. You may see that. AFib greater than 100. All right. So those are the fibs and the flutters. Those are the atrial screwies.
Okay.
All right? Everybody good with that?
So the
Okay.
AFibs, it has the quivering, but it has the QRS.
You're going to have a QRS in all
Yeah.
these
Okay.
beats.
Mhm.
You're
All
not,
right.
if, the only time you don't have a QRS complex in a human being is when they're dead.
It's a
You have a QRS every other time. It's just figuring out what the QRS looks like.
Okay.
The only rhythm with no QRS is asystole. Here.
What
We'll
was
do
the
asystole
RDR?
real quick.
That one's easy.
What was
Any
the
questions on
RDR again?
asystole?
Russ, what was the RDR
Rapid
again?
ventricular
Rapid
response.
ventricular response.
It's the
AFib, rapid
ventricles
ventricular response.
are, contracting.
That's just AFib with a rate greater than 100.
Mhm.
Everybody cool on the atrial stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. What's the next node down?
AV.
SA node, what's the next one down?
AV.
Okay, these are called junctional rhythms. And I'll tell you why.
All the AVs are junctionals?
No. I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
I know, you're amazing.
What's this node?
SA.
What's this node?
AV.
What's this kazooka?
Hiss.
Bundle this, and
Hiss.
then Purkinje's.
Right and left.
Okay, right and left, okay.
Purkinje's.
This sits in the junction of the SA and the bundle of Hiss, hence the term junctional rhythm. This ain't magic. I ain't making this stuff up. All right,
Why don't they explain it that, so it's that easy? They like to understand.
They want us to
because
pay
you guys need to pay $39.95 and take my course.
Because if you fail, they get their tuition over again.
What's the first question?
Where's the
Is
P?
it regular?
What's the
Is it
first?
regular?
Regular.
Oh, just
I
kidding.
forgot a T wave there. First question you always ask yourself,
Is
is it regular? Is this rhythm regular?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the second question?
What's the
Is there
rate?
P wave?
What's the
What's the
rate?
rate?
Oh, right.
What's the rate? 70.
Okay. What's
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No. Let me correct that rate. The rate is 50.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's
Giveaway. The
Well,
rate is 50. That's a giveaway. And I'll give you okay, what's the third question?
Is there a P wave?
Is the P wave before the
Is there a P wave before it's QRS?
No.
All right. Rates between 40 and 60. Remember we talked about inherent rates.
Yes.
What's the inherent rate of the AV node?
40 to
40
40 to 60. Inherent rate is 40 to 60. This rate is between 40 to 60. Do you have a P wave?
No.
Junctional rhythm.
Junctional rhythm.
because
Junctional rhythm. The impulse to fire, instead of arising from the SA node where it should be, is arising from the AV node.
Okay.
All right? So this is one of the backup pacemakers. This guy's sleeping. The heart says, holy shit, I need a beat. Let's go. The AV node goes, okay, and boom, he gives you a jolt. All right? But because you woke me up and pissed me off, I ain't giving you a P wave. You don't get one. And because teletext are inherently dumb, like I am, they make this easy to read. Regular, rate between 40 and 60, normal QRS, normal T wave, no P wave. Junctional rhythm.
AV node.
Comes from the AV node. Everybody get that? All right.
So much easier to remember.
Let me screw it up a little bit.
Okay, so regular, Brady, no P waves, junction.
so this is
Regular
where
40 to 60.
it's going.
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Brady, Brady.
Right.
This is the backward firing.
Yep.
This is the
Okay. Now you have
Look how pretty yours is.
fifth question. I'm sorry, first question. First question.
What's the rate?
Is it
regular?
regular?
Is this regular?
No.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. No, I'm a shitty artist.
Oh, okay, so yes.
Yeah, it's regular. What's the second question?
What's the rate?
What's the rate?
What's the rate? 55. Third question.
Still
Is
junction.
there
There
a
P
Is there
wave.
a
Before
P
the
wave?
Is there a P wave before every QRS?
Yes.
Is there a P wave anywhere else?
Yes.
Yes, there's a P
Oh,
wave
after.
after the QRSs. Okay?
Okay.
You may see this because I saw it in the textbook. This is called, I'll give you the big words because I like to show off.
So there's a P
Retrograde.
after T.
Retrograde.
It's hidden in here.
Retrograde conduction. And here's what happens.
Oh, boy.
This is probably, other than the blocks, which I'm going to give you a little poem for and you'll never forget, this is probably the hardest one to figure out. All right? Here's what happens. The SA node's sleeping. He's out to lunch. Heart says, holy shit, I need a heartbeat. The AV node steps in. He fires, right? Fires the electricity this way and he fires the electricity that way. All right? What's closer, the ventricles or the atria to the AV node? The ventricles. What's going to happen first? QRS, right? Power comes down here and says, give me a, but this power, this juice coming out of here is not stopping. it still continues. It finally makes its way up to the SA node and says, hey, whoa, wake up, jump start. Fires the SA node, but it fired it after the QRS complex. That's why you get a P after QRS.
So your alphabet's on it.
Easy?
All making
Huh?
sense. It's
Easy?
making sense.
Got it? Retrograde conduction. They made a big deal
It's
out of it,
afterwards.
out of that in the book. Retrograde's
Retro.
after. All right.
Okay.
So you may see now. Let me screw this up a little more.
It's out of order.
Yeah, it is.
It's messed up alphabet.
Remember we talked about lead 2? We're always in lead 2.
Yeah.
That's the tattoo and everything's upright.
What the heck?
What's wrong with those P waves?
There is a-
They're upside down. Why are they upside down?
Because it's sending the impulse backwards from the AV to the SA.
Tell her what she's won, Johnny. That's it.
All right, so inverted.
Inverse P wave, right? Remember the rate is the key giveaway here. The rate's going to be between 40 and 60 because it's a junctional rhythm. Inherent rate of the junctional rhythm of the AV node is 40 to 60, right? So watch your rate. Big giveaway. Upside down P waves, they're before the QRS, but they're weird, right? Because the juice is going here, hitting the SA node. I got to tell you something's wrong, so I'm going to put the check engine light on. I'm going to turn the P wave upside down. All right, that's called anterior retrograde conduction. Don't get that involved. If you see an upside down P wave consistently throughout the strip with a QRS that rates between 40 and 60, it is a junctional rhythm. Stop. Don't overthink it. It's a junctional rhythm. All I'm showing you here is you can have no P wave, a P wave over here, or an upside down P wave and still have a junctional rhythm.
Okay.
Right?
The one that's trailing is the retrograde, the other two
Yeah.
are junctions.
Don't worry about the
Inverted
fancy
retrograde.
names. It's just me showing off.
Okay.
Remember that you can have no P wave, a P wave after a QRS, or an upside down P wave in a regular strip, the rate between 40 and 60, and you can have it, it's a junctional rhythm that's coming from which node? AV node. Everybody got that? All right. Am I going too fast?
Nope.
No?
You're kicking butt.
Okay, no P wave, invert, P wave.
Okay, let's move down. There's one more backup pacemaker before the guy croaks out.
So the reason there's inverted P's is
Wait, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
it's the same thing.
What's the difference
The AV node is
between-
firing an impulse to the ventricle and to the SA.
Sinus
node.
arrest
But in
and
this
sinus
case,
exit
it's
flow.
the
SA node
SA
first.
node first, but it's
Okay.
a backward flow. So it's negative. Remember we talked about?
It's the difference between compensatory and non-compensatory.
It's going backwards, so it's moving over.
I'll explain in a second.
Okay.
Remember you asked me. I'll explain in a second. All right.
Just hit the SA first and then hit the ventricle.
All right, so we're in catastrophic failure.
Okay.
Holy shit, call the cops, catastrophic failure. SA node fails. The AV node is in the same union as the SA node. All right, the final backup pacemaker is the bundle of hits, the ventricles. We just call it the ventricles. What's the inherent rate of the ventricles?
20 to 40?
20 to 40. All right, again, the rate is going to be a key giveaway here. Take a look at it. Is it regular? Yeah, it's regular.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first thing you want. I'm just a bad artist. What's the rate?
20 to 40.
27. We'll say the rate's 27, just for the sake of argument. What's the next question?
Is there a P wave?
Is there a P wave?
No.
No.
Anywhere?
No.
Oh, okay. The fourth question you ask yourself, is the QRS happy? Is it upright?
No.
Does it have a T wave? Like it looked in normal sinus rhythm? You see why normal sinus rhythm is so important to understand? Because that's right, everything else is wrong. This is wrong. This is goofy. The QRSs are wide. They're very wide. They're very bizarre looking. They look like this. This is knocking on heaven's door. This is bad, bad, bad. This is called, this is not me showing off because this is in the homework. Hey, how do you spell ventricular?
Oh, the idioventricular something.
Idiosyncratic.
This is an idioventricular rhythm. It's abbreviated IVR. Idioventricular rhythm. The impulse to beat is arising from the ventricles. These guys are asleep. SA node's asleep, you're not gonna have any atrial doing anything at all. The AV node's asleep, so you're not gonna have any junctional doing anything at all. The only thing you got left in your heart before you croak out is the ventricles. And it's called an idioventricular. Idiopathic means they can't find a reason for it. Idioventricular means science doesn't really know why this happens, but it happens all the time, all right? The rate is gonna be what?
20 to 40.
20 to 40, okay. If the rate is greater than 40, what's this piece of magic? Accelerated idioventricular rhythm. I don't make this up. Greater than 40 is an accelerated idioventricular rhythm. 20 to 40 is an idioventricular rhythm, all right?
It just, it's so stupid, but it's like, I'm like, really?
I'll
That's it?
show you in the book.
I know, but it just, you know what I mean? It's like you make things more complicated.
So it's
Yeah,
idiot
yeah.
ventricular.
Everybody
Yeah,
freaks
it's
out
pretty
about
much an
this.
idiot.
Idiot
All right,
ventricular.
so far we have normal sinus rhythm.
Yes.
We have junctional rhythm, 3 flavors of junctional rhythm,
Yes.
right? We have 3 flavors of sinus rhythm. What do we have? Normal sinus rhythm,
Brady and Tacky.
Brady.
sinus brady, sinus tachy.
Okay.
Easy. Junctional rhythms now? Easy, okay. Brianna wants to know what's the difference between a sinus pause and a sinus arrest. And let's see if I can draw a couple of them here. It sucks. I suck at this. That's a peewee. You do suck at this, I know.
No, I'm trying to follow your picture and it's just as pretty.
All right. If you look at this one and this one, they're kind of the same. You have a P, you have a QRS, you have a T, but you have, it's irregular toward the end over here. So you either have a sinus pause or a sinus arrest. A sinus pause means the SA node was supposed to fire and it didn't, but then it did. Sinus arrest is the SA node was supposed to fire and then it didn't. And then the heart said, I gotta start the whole thing over again, because we're off track. This is fairly regular, boop, boop, boop. That's coming where you would expect to see it. If you're counting time, 1, 2, 3, 4's missing, you get 1 on the 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4's missing, you get 1 on the 1 again. But this stays the same, right? This one, you get 1, 2, 3. You can start the whole thing over again, and it may be a different rate, right? Compensatory versus non-compensatory pauses. The way to figure these out is you take a piece of paper, you make a mark here, and you make a mark there. You skip the one in the middle, right? You move the whole thing over to here. If your second mark falls there, the heart's compensated for that. It's a compensatory pause. It picked up the original rhythm and kept going with it, right? Non-compensatory, the heart starts the whole thing all over again, and you're on a whole different set of beats. Sinus arrest, sinus pause.
Got it.
Okay.
So on the arrest is when you get the different
That's a
beats.
pause.
after
Yeah,
it
the whole
starts.
thing resets.
The pause.
The
stays
pause
on
is,
the
you know,
same.
the heart will compensate and pick up the original rhythm of the music
Okay.
right back where you
So
were. This piece of
that's
paper
a
trick.
pause and that's an arrest.
Correct.
Which one is which?
All right.
Top is pause, bottom is arrest.
Oh.
I thought.
So if we're looking at a
No.
strip, we're gonna see a regular rate and then a break in that, and then if it's the
But it'll-
pause, then you'll see like a
It'll pick
different-
right back up again
Okay.
where it should have been.
Right.
It's just, this guy went to lunch, but he's back now,
Okay.
you know?
And
His QRS is missing, but it's back now, and everybody's still marching to the same band.
That's a pause.
That's a pause. It's
So wait,
compensatory.
Wait,
An arrest is, everything just stopped for a while, and now everyone got disorganized, and now we got to start all over again. And it may be a different beat.
And the
Is that
sinus
what they will
arrest
call
is
it?
non-compensatory.
It's-
Is that what it will
A
be?
pause is compensatory, an arrest is not compensatory.
oh, okay.
Pause is compensatory, Arrest is not
It
compensatory.
doesn't have anything to do with.
Cardiac
cost.
arrest, there's no way to compensate for cardiac arrest. We gotta do that, it's a way to remember. Cardiac
So,
pause, yeah, you may
the
be able to
arrest
take care of
happens,
yourself. Cardiac
and then it
arrest,
goes
nothing
to
you can do.
different rhythm?
We gotta help you,
Wait, so the
right?
pause is the block, right?
Okay, so,
So it is?
Is it sinus?
maybe, ventriculars. Okay, so everybody's good on AFib. Everybody's good on A flutter. All right. What's this?
Ventricle.
Tap.
VTAC. See how it's nice and even? Well, it's supposed to be, and it looks kind of the same all the way across the sheet, right? All the way across the strip. I put little V's in here, so you can see that it's VTAC. This is an easy one. Don't worry about the rate. It's going to be greater than 100. They books say it's got to be 150 to 180 or 250. It doesn't matter.
If it's on a 6 rhythm strip.
It looks like
it's
that.
a 6
That's
second
VTAC.
gap.
Yeah, the rate can be 32,000 until the guy pops. Doesn't matter. It's greater than 100 because tachycardia, under any circumstances, by definition, is greater than 100, and it has those little God-given V's in there. That's VTAC. What's this?
Oh, that's the porto.
It says coarse VFib. Remember AFib, the ventricles or the atria are quivering? Well, in VFib, the ventricles are quivering, all right? They're quivering pretty strong right here because it's coarse. It takes up a lot of the up and down space on the strip, right? After it gets tired, then it does this. And that's fine. Fine VFib. Coarse VFib, fine
So
VFib.
that's VTAC.
What comes next? What comes next?
Asystole.
Asystole.
It goes to fine after it gets tired.
If it gets tired of quivering. Yeah, it's only gonna quiver coarse for a while, then it's gonna start quivering fine, and then it's gonna do this.
So does VFib have no like discernible PQRS?
Nope, VFib is chaotic, disorganized, skinny, skinnier, dead.
So VTAC,
VTAC looks like that.
coarse VFib, and then
Coarse
fine
VFib,
VFib.
fine VFib,
Asystole.
asystole. All right, these three over here, you can shock. These are shockable rhythms. Do not pay attention to Gray's Anatomy and House MD. You cannot shock asystole. What they tell you on TV, you
'Cause they're
cannot.
actually good
We can shock asystole all day long, you're just gonna get sued. Do not shock asystole. VTAC.
Why can't you shock
VFib,
asystole?
you can shock, doesn't do you good.
Because they're already dead?
The reason you shock somebody is to cause that to happen. To get it, say, hey,
So, yeah, to
slap the heart
restart.
around, knock it off,
Yeah.
let's start over. That's what a shock does. It's too late here.
They
We've
were
already
wrong.
knocked it off.
And then make them
The
more
only thing you can do
dead.
here is what? What can you do for this guy?
Ready?
Yeah, and while you're praying, you should be doing
CPR?
Compression.
compressions. And you give them some dope, you give them epi. And that's it. That is not much. I mean, this
Levofed.
is, yeah, not much. This one, you go through the whole ACLS algorithm, but just remember V, God-given V's is VTAC, you have VFib, of course VFib and fine VFib, it leads to asystole.
Asystole, you're gonna do CPR and give what?
Compression.
Drugs, you do compressions and you give them epi, that's it.
Epi.
Just a bunch of epi. Oh, not a bunch of epi, you give them a milligram of epi every 3 to 5 minutes. Not a bunch of epi.
Just
Like a quart of epi.
6 pens.
Yeah,
Yeah, quarter of me.
let's give them a quart of epinephrine.
Yeah. Movie magic.
Yeah, at least once a week on TV, I see him shocking a system. He's alive. We all go for beers. Okay. I did not write this poem, but I like it. I used to teach the way he taught with the husband left the wife and they're not talking to each other, and honest to God, I started teaching that way and I got to the husband's not coming home part of it. And somebody in the class started crying and walked out, and then her husband just left her.
Oh,
So I said, that's the last time I'm teaching that. I find something else. Okay.
We like your poems anyway, Russ, let's be honest.
All right, first question.
rhythm.
Is it
Is it
irregular?
regular?
Is it regular?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm sure you are, I'm sorry. Second question, what's the rate? 70.
Okay.
Third question,
Is there a P wave?
is there a P wave?
Yes.
3A. Is there only one P
Is there
wave?
only one P wave?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Is
3B.
QRS up?
3B.
It's the same?
Is QRS up?
0.12 to
Now we gotta
0.20. What
measure.
does that mean?
How many
That
boxes?
means the time from here to here
Are they the same?
is called the PR interval. In a normal adult human being, it's got to be between 12 and 20. 0.12 to 0.20.
Which is 3 to 5 boxes?
Now you can count boxes. Okay.
Yay.
How many little boxes in a big box?
5.
Okay, so a big box is worth 0.20. How much is each little box worth?
0.04.
0.04.
Right.
Thank you, Naomi. So now you count boxes. Are you happy? Are you happy? Christy, are you
Very
happy?
happy,
You can
yes.
count boxes.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, so you gotta have less than 5 boxes. All right, less than 5 boxes. So that'd be less than 0.20. Right? If it's greater than 0.20, everything else is fine. This is greater than 0.20. This is called a first degree. First degree block.
If it's greater than what did you say, sorry?
20. First line of the poem. If Q is far from P, then you have a first degree. If Q is far from P, then you have a first degree. Stop there. That's all there is to a first degree block. Big deal? No. Do people take first degree block pills? No. People see their doctor every week for a first degree block? No. Most people have a first degree block and don't know it. They come in for surgery or whatever and they pick it up there. You watch it a little closely, it's no big deal. Everybody cool on first degree blocks?
Yeah.
Hold on. First degree. Okay, Christie, if it's greater than 2,
Then you have the first degree. Block. Greater than 0.20, you have the first degree block.
You wave that far in.
excuse me, P, and it's a first degree.
Well, don't say block, it messes up the poetry.
First degree.
Yeah, then you have a first degree. Okay. Here's a P wave, you have a PRI here. Right? Here's a P wave, you have a PRI here. Here's a P wave, you have a PRI, screw this up.
So it's getting bigger.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a PRI, and you got nothing. So you have a PRI. So the PRI is getting longer progressively, right? It's lengthening. The PR interval is lengthening. With every beat, the PRI is getting a little longer, right? Longer, longer, longer drop, then you have a Wecke-Bach.
Okay, so wait.
Second degree type 1 is called a Wecke-Bach. It's also called a Mobitz 1, because it's named after Dr. Wecke-Bach and then Dr. Mobitz horned in. Longer, longer, longer drop, then you have a Wecke-Bach. Second degree type 1. And they're easy to see. Once you look at a couple of them, you'll see how that PR interval starts longing out. Then all of a sudden you get a QRS and you get nothing. And then the whole mess resets. And if you're not sure, measure this PR interval and then go down after the whole mess resets and measure that first PR interval after the drop. They should be equal. First PR interval you find that's starting the series, you get a drop, no PR interval because there's no R, right? Then it starts all over again, the series starts all over again. This PR interval and this PR interval should be equal. The ones in the middle should be getting longer, right? The key to remember, that's just if you're not sure. The key to remember is longer, longer, longer drop, then you got a Wecky bot. Second degree type 1. Any heartburn there?
And this is the one that's the warning.
This is a warning.
So the Q
This
is
is
far
the-
from P, first degree, longer, longer.
This is the check engine lights on, but there's no horn blowing.
Yeah, warning Wecky ball.
I'm sorry I'm taking longer than I said.
It's okay, I'm past hungry now.
About to chomp on you.
You're outstanding, it's worth it.
Should You usually have slides, I don't have to draw all this stuff. First question. First question, the regular, yes, right, it's regular. Second question, rate,
Rate.
80.
Okay.
Third question,
Is there
is there
a
a P before QRS? 3A.
Is there only
more than
one P?
P-wave? Yes, there is. Okay. 3B, is a PR interval regular? Yes, it is. 3C can only be one of the things. This PR interval and this PR interval and this PR interval are all the same. You got a P, right, with no QRS, and then this goes back to being the same, right? If some P's just don't get through, then you got a Mobitz 2. Let me write this.
Wait.
Wait,
What's
wait,
C?
Russ, back
Yeah,
up.
what is C?
What's C?
C, is there more than one PR, more than
No.
one P wave?
Is it, that's B.
That's
Okay,
me.
the PR interval is the same. I'm making this
Yeah,
up. I don't know.
PR interval is the same. That was
So
what
the
it
PR
was.
interval is the same.
Yeah, that's 3C.
Yeah, and your PR interval's not the same.
Because I'm a shitty driver. Yeah, this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. There's no PR interval here because why? There's no R. Yeah,
So what
exactly.
is it?
Is that
So you
what's
can't
your
have a
little-
PR interval.
What's your little,
So it's not the same.
Well, it's the same here, it's the same here, it's the same here. There can't be one here.
Change the rules on me.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You're trying to trick me with a trick question. Hold this. So,
My punishment.
if some P's just don't get through, then you have a Mobitz 2. Mobitz 1 is longer, longer, longer drop. So if these were long, longer, longer drop, then you have a Wecky Bach. These, despite my poor art, are the same PR interval. You just have a P wave with no corresponding QRS.
So there can't be no PR interval.
There can't be any PR interval because you got no R to measure it.
Right.
Right? So you want to look at these PR intervals, and they're the same, and then you have a P wave just hanging out all by itself with no QRS, and then the whole mess starts all over again. That's a Mobitz 2. If some P's just, this P didn't get through. If some P's just don't get through, then you have a Mobitz 2. Everybody cool there?
some P's don't get through, then you have a Mobitz 2.
Right. That's second degree type 2, Mobitz 2. Everybody cool there?
Okay.
Any blocks? I asked you to hold it, you didn't. First question, is it regular? Yeah.
Yes.
What's the rate? 87. Okay. You have, first, to identify this one, to identify all of them, look, try to isolate a PQRST complex. Everyone knows what that looks like, a PQRST complex. You got one of those, right? You got a bunch of other crap going on here. You got a bunch of extra P waves. Some of them cause a QRS, and some of them don't. This one's causing nothing. This one's causing nothing. Here's a QRS without a P. Everybody's doing their own thing. The atria are doing their own thing, and the ventricles are doing their own thing. Right? That's a third degree block. Right? If P's and Q's just don't agree, then you have a third degree.
I like it.
So when you're looking at blocks, there's only 4 of them. So if you get a block question, look at it and start rolling stuff out. Is it a first degree? Yeah. If it's a first degree, the PR is greater than 20, right? If there's nothing else weird going on, it's going to be a first degree. If you get second degree blocks and you can't be sure, longer drop. That can only be a second degree type 1, all right? If you have a second degree type 2, you have a P, it's just not getting through. But you have a P before every QRS, right? The giveaway to a third degree, right? If P's and Q's just don't agree, then you have a third degree. The P waves are going to march. They're marching their own, and the R's, the QRSs, are going to march to each other, but not to themselves, right? So you're going to have P waves will march. You get a piece of paper, you make a mark here, and you make a mark here, you move it over, and these all agree. They're all marching. And the R waves are all marching to some other rate.
But they're all different.
But they're all different. They're not talking to each other. A P firing is not causing corresponding QRS at any time. If P's and Q's just don't agree, then you got a third degree. Those are the blocks. Is everybody cool there?
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.
I just have
Can we
one
buy you
question real
lunch
quick.
or something?
Okay, can we go over the third question that you asked yourself?
Sure.
Okay, so is there a P wave prior to QRS?
Correct. That's the first part of it.
3A, is there only one P wave before QRS?
Okay.
B, 0.12 to 0.20,
Mm-hmm.
PR interval,
Right.
less than 5 boxes.
Right.
I'm missing the last one. Right?
Is PR interval same?
The PR interval is the same, is a
Oh.
constant.
PR.
What's it be?
Right, there's all kinds of other weird stuff, like if the PR interval is less than 12, what's that? And the other one they talked about in the book that you don't see very often is a sinus arrhythmia. Sinus arrhythmia is your heart rate speeds up when you inhale and it slows down when you exhale. So you'll see all this stuff. It's not necessarily regular. You see PQRST, PQRST. You'll see blocks of regularity. Right? Oh, I didn't do ectopy. I'm sorry. I'm not done. Ectopy. 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 What's this word mean?
It's firing from
Ectopy. If you have an ectopic pregnancy, what's it mean?
Oh, nephropathy.
Outside.
Eggs out of
coming
place.
Out of place.
Out of place. They have an ectopic beat. It's out of place. They'd like to talk to you about ectopy. There's 3 kinds. Of ectopy. The P all stands for the same one, and the C all stands for the same one, and that's premature contraction. So the difference are atrial, junctional, and ventricular contractions. And we already talked about where they're coming from. So knowing where they're coming from should help you identify what it is, right? If you have see how this is regular and this is early? Premature. The premature contraction, right? You have a P wave here, so where's it coming from?
the atrium.
Only one place it can come from is the atrium. So which of these 3 is it?
PAC.
PAC.
Not hard. Not hard. All right.
PVC.
PJC.
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 Everything else is the same. These all QRSs all look the same. Everything's fine. What's missing?
The P.
P wave. What causes a normal QRS pattern without a P wave?
The
Junction. PJC.
Right.
So those 2, you already know 2 of the 3. You know how easy that is? All right.
Oh, because there's no P. Okay.
No P.
I see.
You get this thing, it looks like New Jersey. It's wide and bizarre. What gives you wide, bizarre beats? What part of the heart?
Ventricle.
So you would have a contraction. You see how hard ectopy is? Ain't nothing to it. All right. Here's some special ectopy words, and these all have to do with PVCs, right? 2 PVCs in a row. Couple. QRS, PVC. QRS, PVC. Bigeminy. I don't know, I didn't make it up. Bigeminy. QRS, every other beat's a PVC. QRS, PVC.
So it has to
QRS,
be
PVC.
sequential like that then? It
Yeah,
goes one,
yeah,
the other
every
one,
other
the
beat is a PVC.
Okay.
When you're reading the book and they said irregularly irregular and regularly irregular, okay, irregular irregular is AFib. Regular irregular is bigeminy. Because it's irregular, it's premature by definition, but you can predict where they're going to happen.
Yeah.
You can predict where they're going to show up. That's regularly irregular bigeminy.
Okay.
QRS, PVC, bigeminy. Thinking caps. QRS, PVC. Anyone? Bueller?
Couplegenomy.
Trigeminy. Trigeminy.
Okay.
3. QRS, PVC, trigeminy. All right.
So bi, tri.
Yeah, 2, 3, those are the magic words. Okay. And then there's this big controversy about 3 PVCs in a row is VTAC, and don't worry about that shit. So bigemini's QRS, PVC, trigemini's QRS, PVC. There is no bigemini ACs or bigemini JCs, it's only for PVCs.
So you say regular, irregular, atrial.
Irregularly irregular. Irregular is AFib. It's irregular and you can't tell how it's going to be irregular. It's just
But
irregular.
irregular.
Irregular is going to be
It's
bigeminy or trigeminy.
Okay, it's gonna be one of your PVCs.
Right, right. Okay, unifocal. Oh.
This is the Russ's Notes version of our lecture we just had.
Let's see here. All right. Unifocal, let's say you have 2 PVCs. Let's say you have bigeminy and you have 2 PVCs.
Bigeminal and trigeminal. Couplet.
And they both look like New Jersey, right? Unifocal, one focus. If one looks like Oklahoma and one looks like New Jersey, multifocal, 2 focuses. That's as hard as that is. If they look alike, they're unifocal. If they look different, they're multifocal. Don't judge them by how they look, get into their heart. All right, really, I'm done now.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So
Thank
the
you,
thing that
Russ.
you're gonna see about the PAC or PJC is you're gonna have a regular rhythm and then you're gonna have somewhere irregular.
Yeah.
You're going to have a regularly irregular.
rhythm.
What's the P stand for? In all those ectopic beats, what's the P stand for?
Premature.
So, can you have a premature beat and a regular rhythm?
Right.
No.